Okay, so let's just now talk about the sort of cite as you write story that I was going on about. So on the left hand side there, and both of these come from the video and from the course. And in the course, I scroll through my own PhD, I think it is, my full final report, and I talk about the citation approach and principles that I used in my report. And very importantly, like I was saying at the beginning, I also talk about the context of citing in a paragraph. You don't just put a citation in there. It has to flow. You have to think about the journey of the reader through your writing. So, and again, humanities and engineering is going to be slightly different. Engineering often puts the citations at the end of the sentence, whereas humanities brings it to the front. And like I was saying with humanities, so what you're looking at here is the IEEE style for engineering. And it's obvious, guys. Humanities emphasizes humans, okay? So that's why they put the surname in the citation. Don't know if you've ever thought about it like that. If I was to click a button on my PhD final report and switch from IEEE to APA, it would automatically fix all my citations. And instead of looking at numbers in that paragraph on the left there, you'd be looking at name or surname, yeah, surname, yeah, surname, yeah, surname, yeah. And that's obvious because humanities, they want to know the people that wrote these things because it's a much more human orientated field. So somebody who's writing about English literature, for example, is an expression of that person. Engineering is a much more objective, impersonal field. And as much as I'm an engineer, there's very little human expression in engineering. Now, I did my whole PhD because I strongly believe that there is a human expression in software engineering. And I firmly believe that the reason we have wonderful exponential apps today that understand the way people think is because you've got humans writing code. You can go and read my final report if you want to read more about that. But again, if you were looking at humanities, you'd see surname, year, all the way through here. And then on the right-hand side is just a screen grab of the list of references at the end of my final report. Now, it is organized according to the number. So if you can imagine you're citing all the way through, that number is going to show you the sequence of the references all the way through. Now, you remember I talked about some articles and stuff, and that was very much later in my final report. The references to the top of that list are going to be the ones that I reference earlier on in my final report, and are probably going to be the more important ones, in my introduction and my literature review, etc. And that's kind of some of the logic because they want to see which are the more important ones, etc. at the top. But again, a humanities list of references is going to have it organized alphabetically by the surname. So although, and like I said to you earlier, in there you still see the surname and the year, but it's just one of the fields. In humanities, it's actually in the text and it's alphabetized and shows the importance of the surname in how that list is organized. Okay, so that's just a little bit of how of some of the screenshots in the course that you get. So you can go in there and have a look at that. Okay, right now. So to get to that final output, and if you have the EndNote plugin set up in Microsoft Word, as you're then typing through, you'll be able to click Cite, and this window will pop up on top of your Microsoft Word document, okay? And you'll actually be able to search through your EndNote library. So there you can see in the middle is an EndNote window. I don't go out into EndNote and come back to Microsoft Word. It's just a plugin inside Microsoft Word. And I can go and type in there the reference that I know I need to cite, okay? Now, just park that for one moment. You as the expert making this contribution should be able to think, I had that reference, I need to bring it in here, this is what I'm talking about. Like we heard just now, the article that references the other article, etc. So I'm going to reference the core article. Let me go find that, type in a search, click a button, and it brings in the citation. Okay. Quick and easy and simple. And the single biggest thing that I teach in the course and that I want to teach you guys today is referencing is an integral part of academic writing. Don't think that you can leave it until the end and you'll come back and add in all your references. Don't do that, please. If you have your EndNote reference library set up and you've been adding references in there in the way to that I teach in the course. Vishal, good afternoon, welcome. We got about 20 minutes left, but you haven't missed too much. And welcome, great to have you. And no problem, great to have you here. Okay, so do it as you go. Cite as you write, and it's in the term cite as you write while you're writing, because your interpretation of the reference or the source in the way that it'll mean the most for the reader, you're going to be able to do that best when you are first writing that sentence. And even if you can't fully look up the source and bring it in the way that EndNote offers you to do in Microsoft Word. And what I used to do is I used to put a yellow highlight thing and write a note to myself, bring in that reference by that guy that spoke at that conference. Okay, and I knew when I scanned through all the yellow highlights, I had to go back and fix. Now, I regretted doing all of that because by the time you get to a couple of hundred pages of a final report, to think back to when you were writing that paragraph of what you were intending to say and how you wanted to bring that source in, yes, you might need to change it over time, but I would just strongly recommend you try and do it as you go through your writing. And that is really going to, I think, improve your ability to refer to other sources in the best possible way that'll have the most value for your writing and your research and your contribution to society.